Hey, good morning, everybody. This is David Pendleton, and as promised, I got my butt up super early today to work on for the final round for everybody. So now you're going to get a rookie final round walkthrough on the Stateline Classics tournament, and you're going to get the wind direction for all the holes. Now, keep in mind the wind this time is staying the same on the front nine and the back nine. That is going to change in the future, but the Playdemic kept it the same wind angle due to a lot of issues in the previous rounds. So here we go. I've got a lot of good content to share with you. For sure, we're going to approach a couple holes a little bit differently than we have just because of the wind. It's going to be really important that you listen to some of the new elevation changes that we're going to be using as well. But all in all, I hope you find this really helpful. I hope my videos from qualifying to the opening round to now the weekend round, have been beneficial for you and your play. And if that's the case, please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Please hit the thumbs up button, and let's go ahead and hop right into hole number one. So hole number one, we're getting a slightly more difficult tailwind on this hole. Now, tailwind is always great on this hole, but, you never want the wind blowing from right to left, which is what we have now. Because when that's the case, we need to use more curl to compensate for that. And best case scenario, we use ourselves a side spin 3-ball. I would only play this hole with a katana or a kingmaker. Obviously, a katana, you're going to have plenty of strength to get the ball up to the green area where we need to be. If you want to make the shot even easier, then go ahead and go kingmaker. You're not going to go wrong either way. Now, we're still playing this one 20% elevation. We're still playing this one about 4.5 top spin. And like I said, full right spin when it comes to that. You just want to get your ball guideline really nicely on the fairway here and make sure you're not too close to the rough on the right-hand side with your ball guideline. Again, this is a 20% elevation pull. And for me, I didn't even push back up into max. I knew that I was going to be using overpower, so I wanted the overpower to be a little bit better controlled. And, for players that don't know, if you move your target back a little bit on your driver and you take that shot in overpower, it slows down the needle speed quite a bit. Okay, so there we go. That's where we've been at all tournament. This is a great position to be. Just take your wedge out and chip that into the hole. And, you have to eagle that hole in order to get, yourself into position to compete on this tournament. Now we're going to go into hole number two, okay? Now, hole number two, we're still playing at medium distance of our backbone. And we're still playing with a navigator ball. And it's still going to be 10% elevation. Here's the spin you want to use. About 1.3 bars of backspin is going to get you really good speed. Now, notice what I'm doing here with my offset. You're going to see here that I am basically, the end of my ball guideline is almost in the middle of this dark green row. And it's, a full row to the left-hand side of the pin of the cup. So that's going to be important to look at when you see how this shot plays. Again, 10% elevation. I'm using medium distance of my backbone. Okay, so we see here that we missed that just a fraction to the right-hand side. Now, this was my final attempt at the hole that I hit perfect. So I got closer, of course, than I did on any of my other shots. So let's kind of take a look at what we have here. All right, so we use a power 1 ball at 10%, and we use a backbone. And we had 2.9 mile per hour wind. That means we pulled it 2.3 rings. So what I want you all to do is to try to get the hole in one. And, depending on the wind strength, this is going to work at 2.9 mile per hour rings, right? if I would have played this one 20% elevation at medium distance of my club, then we would have had ourselves a hole in one, right? Because instead of 2.3 rings, if I would have pulled 2.5, that would have obviously not missed right, and it would have been dead center. So that's what I suggest everyone who's watching do on this hole. With this wind angle, go ahead and play at 20%. That's going to compensate for the wind push. That's a little trick you can do with elevation. But the biggest thing is you're going to need to duplicate my spin and my landing spot in order for you to get the ball into the cup. Now, not every single person is going to make it if you hit perfect, but it's going to be pretty darn close. If you get the exact same wind, 2.9, then you're going to make the shot, if you line up exactly where I did and hit perfect and use 20%. Let's say you get a 4.5 mile wind. You can still use the same 20%, but you're going to have to move the offset a little bit more to the left. Not a ton, just a little bit more. And that's how you start to dial in a shot like we used to do back in the day, before the tournament wind structure changed. But that's where we're at now, trying to learn this on the fly. And here we go to hole number 3. Okay, now we're going to talk about hole number 3 for a second because I haven't done this shot yet in the qualifying or in the opening round. But this is going to be the first berserker we're going to use. And the reason I want to do that is because we're getting just a sliver of tailwind, and I don't want to mess this drive up. We don't like right to left wind when we're trying to lay up on the front fairway here. So we're going to go over the trees with a power 5 ball. We're going to push up into max at 10% elevation. We're going to go almost full overpower. And we're going to curl this ball until the right side of our ball touches the left side of the target adjustment. And I'll show you what I mean. Now you see here, you get a nice roll out of the rough onto the fairway. Even if you don't make the fairway, you're okay in that top part of the rough there because your nirvana will easily get you to the green. And 2. And so we just need to take this as a birdie, or sorry, as an eagle. But you can see what I mean right here when I mean the right side of my ball is up against the edge of the adjustment window there. So that's the overpower, and that's the hook, or the curl, I should say, that I suggest that you do on this hole. That leaves you with this shot on shot number 2. I was trying to get fancy here and see if I could somehow get myself a good line at the albatross. But at the end of the day, I definitely didn't like it with the Goliath. So I decided to just back up here, play this shot at no elevation, and just make sure that my ball guideline is completely on the green with lots of wiggle room to spare if I hit a great ball. So again, pull it at no elevation. I used almost half a ball of curl to the left. And we'll take it. All right, so right there, we're starting off -5 through 3 holes. That puts you on a pace for a -30, which would be a really, really phenomenal score with the new wind structure, so let's keep it up. Okay, hole number 4 sucks, always has, probably always will. Very difficult hole to dial in a hole-in-one on, but we are getting good wind, at least we're getting straight tailwind. Now notice here, I'm using, about 0.8 bars of backspin, and probably about the same when it comes to right side spin. When you take this shot, this ball naturally kicks from right to left. So you can see that I'm offsetting here to the right-hand side. And that's just because I know that when this ball touches down, it's going to naturally kick over to the left. And that has nothing to do with the green. It has everything to do with all this bumps here that we're going to hit whenever this ball touches down right here. So you can see here that the speed is really good. So we like the way the ball came into the hole. We left it basically right at the pin. The only thing that you need to do is just offset your ball a little bit more to the right. Now, again, this doesn't guarantee a hole-in-one. This is just going to help you get closer than I did. You're going to learn from where I missed and then what you can try to do to get this ball to drop. Some people are going to make it, some people aren't. But it's a benefit by taking a look at my miss. And then we go on to hole number 5. Hole number 5, we're going to continue to play both shots at 10% elevation, and that last shot on hole number 4 was 20% elevation at max distance of the club. I should have said that. Hole number 5, max distance of your driver, 10% on the drive, 10% on the second shot to pin. Notice here that I used, backspin to make sure that I don't go too far up onto this fairway here. This is a very important shot to hit perfect on because a great left or a great right can definitely leave you in the rough. The good news about that is, though, even if you go into the rough, you can still get to the green in 2 shots as long as you have a decent level nirvana. Now, hole number 5, I'm really disappointed. I did not get this drop today. And I haven't completed all of my rounds yet. Well, I've got 1 hole left on one account, and then I've got a couple holes left on another. But, 3 shots perfect on this one, and I didn't get it to drop. A little disappointed. But 2 bars of backspin. And I think the most important part, on this hole right here is that when you apply your spin, you've got your second bounce on the fringe. And then take a look at how I'm aiming on the left-hand side. This is basically aiming directly at the left-hand side of the cup in the hole. And again, here we are leaving another one right past the cup. So this is a pretty easy one to fix. Same spin, same landing position. Make sure the second bounce is on the fringe. That's going to give you a good steady roll to the cup. You just need to move your target over a little bit more to the left, and then we would have dropped that shot. Now that's the closest that I got. My first attempt, I was way off for some reason. Well, not way off, but I missed way too far to the right. I tried to move it over, got a lot closer, and then this shot was my last shot at perfect. Got it much closer. So, you're going to be in a better spot than I am for sure. And that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm getting up early to help all my subscribers out because I appreciate, everybody who clicks on my channel and watches my content. Okay, hole number 6, same drive. We've been playing at 20% all tournament. We always play at 20%. We're going to keep it that way. Basically here I'm using 4 bars of top spin, 4.5. Somewhere right around that area is good. I put just a sliver of right side spin on it. Now, you just have to be careful that you don't hit a great right shot. You can see where I'm aiming and setting up. Where I'm aiming and setting up is going to put me on the part of the fairway that I definitely want to be on. A great right could stick you in the rough and give you a lot of problems. But if you hit perfect, like you're supposed to, you'll be good. But regardless, this is the little groove area that you want to be at on this hole, whether you're playing it in a tournament or whether you're playing it, in one-on-one play. Now, we're going to take shot number 2 at 10% elevation with 4 bars of backspin, and you're going to use max distance of your club, again, 10%. First thing to notice here is the wind strength. 3.5 is on the upper echelon of the strength. I guess it's kind of in the middle for a rookie, to be honest, because you can get anywhere from, I think, 2.2 to 4.5. So, take a look here at where I am offsetting. I'm leaving my ball guideline pretty much right at the pin, but man, just a smidge to the left of the cup. So my ball guideline is not in the cup. My ball guideline is not touching the cup. It is just offset a fraction to the left of the cup. And that is, again, because of the way the ball bounces. I know that the wind is blowing to the left. And, again, this is where I learned from my miss in my other shots. With the camera angle, I thought I was going to drop that one, but I didn't. But very, very close. Unfortunately, only 2 shots perfect on this hole. 2 shots great, of course, but the shot that I hit perfect, it came really close to dropping. So that's how I knew that I needed to aim just over here to the left. So what do you need to do if you get similar wind? Go ahead and let that ball guideline right there touch the edge of the left-hand side of the cup, and then that would have dropped for me. But again, that was at 3.5 mile per hour wind. You know, let's say you get 2.7 mile per hour wind. Well, then you might want to go ahead and just aim almost dead center, but just favor the left-hand side of the cup. Makes sense? The less wind that we need, the different the offset is going to be. Same thing with more wind. All right, and you're going to get yourself really, really close to making that albatross, and I know a lot of you will. Okay, hole number 7, I'm going to give you 2 ways to play it. This wind is a little bit tricky. It does require a pretty big offset. So I want you to take a look at what I'm doing with my navigator ball here. Notice right here that the end of my ball guideline is a full row to the right-hand side of the hole. It's almost, the end of my ball guideline is basically right on the seam where that dark green and that light green row meet. And I always play this hole 1-to-1, so 2.9 per hour wind means we're going to move 2.9 rings. And as you can see, I mean, we're just leaving so many shots right there, which is when the game gets extremely frustrating. So, you know, just move yours over a hair to the right, and that ball would have been in the hole. But here's a shot from somebody in my clan who's going for a rough bump with this wind angle, which is a pretty good idea. But for a lot of players in Rookie, they don't, or I shouldn't say. So for a lot of players in Rookie, not comfortable with doing a rough bump on a hole like this, because a great right could leave you in the rough. A great left could have you missing the rough completely and flying into the sand. But, you know, we are playing this shot at medium distance of our sniper, so mid distance at minus 5% elevation. So minus 5% elevation. Now, he was able to pick up a hole-in-one. So it's a great shot. It's a great drop. I don't know how duplicatable that is. So you can play it however you want. I showed you one way to play with the navigator. You just need to offset it. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't even pay attention to where the cup's at. You saw my shot. You saw what I did. That's how the hole plays. And then you saw his shot. Much more risky. Great shot. This guy's a great tournament player. So, you know, you just kind of do what you want to do as far as that one goes. And then we go into hole number 8. Hole number 8, I probably don't really need to show you the drive. You know, we've been playing it the same way all tournament. You know, the biggest thing that I would tell you is don't use too much topspin, because you will go into the rough at the top-hand side. But what you want to do is use a full right curl, okay, and no elevation on the drive. And then I'm not playing these shots with any elevation either. So I decided on Rookie today to try to use a Guardian and do a max backspin shot like I'm playing in Pro, you know, just to see what would happen. Well, I guess I'm showing you the sniper rough bump first. So let me go back here to this one. So I tried to play this Guardian shot because I didn't like how that sniper rough bump played in that wind. But as you can see here, this is just absolutely full backspin. And with the Guardian 6, you don't have a great ball guideline. I'm just trying to visualize my ball coming down off that bank in the back of the green and coming down towards the pin. So using this to kick us back towards the pin. And it's not really close, but it is a good try to get an eagle. It's a very safe shot. You're not going to mess it up and miss out on your birdie opportunity. This right here is a much more difficult shot, trying to get the rough bump eagle, especially in a tailwind with crosswind mix. Worst case scenario, you get headwind with crosswind, but that's not going to happen in this tournament. I'm just saying in general. But you can see here I'm using backspin and a little bit of right spin and just aiming into the cup. Playing this one at medium distance of my sniper with no elevation. And you see, I almost missed the rough there. That would have been deadly. So I don't suggest this shot unless you look at my miss and you tweak it. But then you're good to go, okay? Okay, now hole number 9 The wind on the drive is it's heavy tailwind, so we need to use a lot of backspin on the drive to make sure we don't go into the rough. If you're finding this helpful, I hope you do. I love, all the subscribers. I love the people who click on and view. I love looking at the comments. It's always positive, so thank you for being in such an awesome community. Please subscribe. Please hit the like button. This is the final round. I put a ton of work and time into this tournament for everybody. If you have the means to do so, and I know not everybody does, but if you do have the means to do so, please help support my channel with a donation. You can do that with PayPal. You'll find the link to my PayPal in the comment section. If you don't have PayPal, just hit me up with comments if you want to donate, and we'll figure something out, because I've got a whole lot of different ways you can do it. But 10% on the drive. Here we go. I'm using 3.5 bars of backspin with, about 0.3 bars of right side spin. Like I said, I pull my rings 10%. We hit the drive here. We hit a perfect ball. And even with all that backspin, you'll see here that we're still pushing up close to the top of the rough. Now, we're not in any fear of going into the rough. I'm just saying it's still close with all that backspin. Remember, pack your big dog, okay, or your cataclysm, whatever you play with, and you need to smash the ball on the second shot up that fairway. I'm not going to show that again because it's pretty redundant. But here's your shot to pin. This is a little bit trickier of a wind, okay? You're getting tailwind with crosswind mixed. I played this one 10% like I have been all tournament with 2 bars of backspin. That's pretty consistent as well. I'm aiming this one into the hole. The only thing that I didn't like is I got a little bit of a glitchy ball guideline there, as you see. And again, this is unfortunately a hole that I've hit too many great shots on to pin. This is my only perfect shot so far, and it came in just to the right-hand side. So with this wind angle, if you're playing medium distance of your thorn like I am, I want you to change this to only 5%. We need to pull less rings. 5% elevation on the last shot. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Let me know how you're doing in the comments. I always reply.